What's up guys, my name's Andrew Kirby, and in this video you are going to learn all about Epictetus. To me, I just find it fascinating that the three modern Stoics are all so diverse in who they are. First of all, there was Marcus Aurelius, who was the Roman emperor, and in his time he was the most powerful man alive. Secondly, there was Seneca, who was a playwright, and he had crazy riches. And thirdly, there was Epictetus, who, on the complete opposite, was a disabled slave. In this video, you're going to learn a lot more about Epictetus, and also I'm going to give you 3 exercises that he would always recommend on top of suggested readings written by Epictetus, and finally I'll finish it with some Stoic quotes. To me, I find it fascinating how Stoicism can apply to anyone, no matter where they come from in life, and these 3 people and how diverse they are truly prove this point. Epictetus was born as a slave some 2,000 years ago, and luckily for both him and us, his owner let him study philosophy. He found Stoicism through Musonius Rufus, who was an ancient Stoic, who later became his teacher and mentor. Later, Epictetus obtained freedom after Nero's death, and he became a teacher for 25 years. This teaching lasted until the emperor at the time banished all philosophers, where Epictetus then fled to Greece and started his own school of philosophy. Marcus Aurelius' influence can be seen in many different places. For example, in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, where he thanks one of his teachers for introducing him to Epictetus. There is some conspiracy that that teacher that Marcus Aurelius had actually attended some of Epictetus' lectures, but most likely this is not true. James Stockdale was a prisoner of war in Vietnam, and it's a horrific story, but he constantly attributes Epictetus for helping him get through the situation. James's leg was bound up by the prison guards, similar to Epictetus, whose leg was broken by his owner. To this regard, Epictetus would say this quote: "Sickness is a hindrance to the body, but not to your ability to choose, unless that is your choice. Lameness is a hindrance to the leg, but not to your ability to choose. Say this to yourself with regard to everything that happens, that you will see such obstacles as hindrances to something else, but not to yourself." Epictetus' influence carries on even more. The founder of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a therapy used to treat anxiety, which I'll have lots more videos on in the future about that, so subscribe if you have problems with anxiety. And he's also found in Tom Wolfe's well-known film called A Man in Full. And what's even more fascinating is that Epictetus didn't write a single word of his theories down. Instead, all that we have of Epictetus is well-written notes by some of his students. Epictetus Is Enchiridion is the book that you should definitely start with. It gives you short but applicable Stoic advice that you can start applying to your life straight away. If you're already past that, you should then dive into Epictetus Discourses. Whilst a lengthy read, you will definitely get a lot of value, and there will be some quotes that will completely shock you to the core. I also want to note that Epictetus' writings are slightly more difficult to read than both Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, so if you're new to Stoicism, check out Seneca or Marcus Aurelius. If I had to give you one book, I'd rather to read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. The first Stoic exercise that Epictetus advises is that of the Dichotomy of Control. Put simply, you should recognize what is under your control and what is not under your control. When you've made this distinction, it's easy for you to ignore what's not under your control and focus on what is under your control. Why waste time and emotions worrying on stuff that you can't control? There's no point, it's completely up to nature. Instead, focus on everything that you can control and focus your complete intent onto this. Epictetus says it like this: "Some things are in our control and others are not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are our body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions." Number 2, set the standard. Instead of telling people what to do, instead of preaching about your philosophy, instead embody it and make it who you are. This way people will see from your actions the benefits of the philosophy and are much more likely to copy you. Epictetus said this: "Never call yourself a philosopher, nor talk a great deal among the unlearned about theorems, but act conformably to them. Thus, as an entertainment, don't talk about how persons ought to eat, but eat as you ought." Number 3. Prescribe yourself a character. Epictetus understood how much we act out of habit, and how we tend to think that our way of doing things are set in stone. Instead, you should set your principles and follow it whether people are there or not. Here's another quote from Epictetus. Immediately prescribe some character and form of conduct to yourself, which you may keep both alone and in company. And finally, I'm going to read to you some of my favourite quotes from Epictetus. No thing great is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, and then ripen. Let death and exile, and all other things which appear terrible, be daily before your eyes, but death chiefly, and you will never entertain any abject thought, nor too eagerly covet anything. Demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, as your life will be serene. I cannot escape death, but cannot I escape the dread of it? Must I die trembling and lamenting? To make the best of what is in our power, and take the rest as it occurs. That's it for me, guys. It's been Andrew Kirby. If you've enjoyed this video, then hit the like button. I've just got a new camera and I'm going to be upping the quality every single day, so if you want to see that, then subscribe. Also, I'm going to be covering Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, so if you're interested in who they are and what they have to say, then subscribe down below. See ya.